So lately, iShowSpeed has been unintentionally shining a light on some of the uncomfortable truths. In Botswana, we saw he tried to buy a raw diamond and he was told you can't. Now, this is one of the world's biggest diamond producers, but they could only sell to a couple of authorized buyers, and one of them being De Beers. Now, for a tourist, even there, buying a raw diamond directly was impossible. It was a small moment that raised huge questions about who really controls Africa's resources or the African minerals.
Okay, what if I want to buy these? I want to buy one of these diamonds.
If you want to buy one of these diamonds,
Yeah, who do I talk to?
you'd have to talk to De Beers or the site holders, because we don't sell. We only have 2 customers. So we can make
But I can't be a customer. This is my first time in Botswana.
we can make arrangements for you to buy diamonds.
Yes.
But these are rough.
Yeah, I know, but what if I want to buy a rough diamond?
No. We only sell rough to 2 customers.
And then maybe you can talk.
Is that part of your contract? Y'all can only sell to those 2 customers.
That's part of the contract.
Okay.
And then in Egypt, just recently, Speed did it again. He asked the question we've all wondered when looking at those ancient statues. Why are all those noses broken off?
Check. Wait, I have a question. Why is the nose gone?
We have two reasons. The first one, because the erosion factors. This is the weakness point of the statue. Because erosion factors, it's broken the nose. And maybe the second reason, because any king after this king tried to broke his nose to be the strongest one.
Oh.
If you ask a guide, you usually get the safe answer: accidents, erosions, or thousands of years of wind and sand, things that might have happened naturally over time, or maybe a clumsy move during an excavation. But this is usually the tourist-friendly version of what tourists are normally told. But that's not the truth. The truth is much more intense. We are not looking at accidents. We are looking at the scars of a 3,000-year-old campaign to erase people from history. Now, to understand why, you have to understand the ancient Egyptian belief. A statue wasn't just art, it was a living vessel for a soul, a car. So if a new pharaoh took power or you wanted to destroy a rival's legacy, you didn't just topple their statue, you performed a ritual. So you killed that statue, and how did you do that? So the best way was to cut off its nose so it couldn't breathe, slice off the ears so it couldn't hear prayers, remove the right hand so it couldn't get any offerings, and that was the best way, in other ways, to deface that particular statue. So this damage isn't random. On thousands of statues, these cuts are precise and surgical. So they weren't just erasing them from history books, they were erasing them from the spiritual world. Now, there's another huge theory out there, you've probably heard it, that European colonizers broke their noses to hide the African features or to de-Africanize the Egyptian history. Now, how true is that? Now, here's the catch. Most of these noses were gone centuries before the European empires showed up. For instance, the Great Sphinx of Giza is a massive limestone statue with a lion's body and a human head built around 4,500 years ago during Egypt's Old Kingdom, most likely representing Pharaoh's Cafe Garden of the Pyramids, symbolizing royal power and strength. You've probably seen some of these pictures on the internet or probably in the museum. And this Great Sphinx of the Giza lost its nose in the medieval period. Now, that's a long time ago. But why does this theory stick even today? So while Europeans may not have swung the hammers to break those noses, they did spend centuries trying to control the narrative. They whitened Egypt in textbooks and they claimed its legacy as their own. And that's where the suspicion comes in. So the missing nose became a powerful symbol, not of colonial vandalism, but of a larger fight over race, identity, and who gets to own the African story. So back to our tour guide. So why stick to the accident story? Why stick to the fact that these things have happened over time and the fact that all these things happen because of erosion? On a short tour, safe is better for business because diving into ancient long history or heated politics of racial erasure is a lot for a 20-minute stop in the heat. I mean, you can imagine Speed. Speed doesn't stay in one place for too long. Within a few seconds, the man is gone. Now, try explaining all of that history, the colonial history, the medieval history, to Speed within a few seconds. Obviously that will not go down so well. So the simple answer avoids debate, but it also hides the most fascinating part, that the ancient Egyptians feared the power of their own images so much they ritually disabled them to control their world. So those missing noses aren't signs of decay, they are not signs of an accident, they are not signs of erosion, they are evidence of a civilization that believed art was alive and that same very art was very dangerous. So the next time you see a statue's broken face, look close at the chisel marks. You are seeing an ancient attempt to silence a king or a god across time. So history isn't just what we build, it's what people try to erase. And this isn't the first time those in power have tried to hide or trivialize the past. So in a way, we've got to thank iShowSpeed for these glimpses. His innocent questions from the outside keep pointing to the truths that everyday life tries to make us ignore. So let me know what you think in the comments. My name is NB and this is War We Are Reclaiming. We'll see you next time.